What's going on, guys? Full here, and I am back with another video. In today's video, I'll bring an in-depth Master Yi jungle guide. Master Yi is up next out of the poll that has been voted for. If you guys want to vote for the poll yourself as well next time, make sure to hit the notification bell and then look out for the poll in the community tab. Every poll lasts for 24 hours. And yeah. Also, there is a Discord community. If you want to join that as well, come hang out there, ask questions and everything. Make sure to do that as well. There is a link in the description. Now, with all that being said, let's get right into the guide. Alright, so for the runes on Master Yi, we have Conqueror, which is by far your best option since this just works so well with your entire kit, really. It helps you with healing, it helps with extra damage and everything. This is just like the rune. To follow with that, you want to get Triumph to get as much sustain as possible. You want to go in for as many resets and as much survivability as you can. Also, getting additional gold from this helps you in getting to your items a little bit more efficiently as well. So it's just the one you want to go for. Now for this one right here, you want to depend this on the enemy team. If they have a lot of CC, you want to definitely go with Tenacity. Because, I mean, obviously, if you cannot get locked down, then you can do more DPS. And DPS is especially what Master Yi is good at. Getting those clean pentakills and everything by just avoiding or reducing their CC as much as possible. So if they do have a lot of CC that needs to be blocked or reduced, rather than Tenacity is the best one to go for. If they don't have that, then you can go for the attack speed instead. Attack speed is never a bad thing on Master Yi. If you can get more auto attacks off, it means more DPS. It's just overall better. Now as D1 here, you want to get Last Stand. Especially, you're just going in You're going to take damage, people are going to try to focus you, you're going to lose health. And Last Stand will just allow you to exponentially increase your damage the lower you get. Which makes the clutch pentakills, the clutch situations where you can get enough damage in to kill people. Get a Triumph proc again, just keep repeating that, is just the highest damage output with this. Yeah. So that's just the reason you want to get this. Also, if you do happen to get a Taric on your team, if you're not playing the boosting strategy, then by chance you get maybe a Taric support or something. Or if you are playing the boosting strategy, then this becomes the best rune instantly. Because then Taric can ult you, you can just have your HP locked low, get Taric ulted and just gain the damage from Last Stand on top of everything. So yeah, now for the secondary tree is really you want to get Ravenous Hunter again for more sustain. This will just help you survive the team fights. If you can tank as much damage as possible whilst dealing your damage, you're gonna have the highest chance of just straight up winning a team fight. If you can start rolling and get a kill after kill after kill, the extra sustain, any bit of extra sustain is really, really important. So that's why Ravenous Hunter is by far the best rune there. And then to combine that, Eyeball Collection is just for increase in damage. There really are no other options here. Because Sudden Impact only lasts a little bit. It's not really meant for the extended fights that Yi likes to do. So Eyeball Collection, just a straight up damage increase, will mean the most. And yeah, so that's really it for the rune setup for Yi. You want to just survive. You're building this to sustain and live through fights as long as possible just to do your damage, which is the most ideal situation. Now for the runes here, it's just like the simple attack speed. You're gonna get Adaptive Force and then armor or magic resist depending on the enemy jungler really. So yeah, that's it for the runes. If you guys have any questions on this, make sure to put those in the comments below and I'll move on into the item build now. Alright, so for the item build on Master Yi, we have the Hunter's Machete and a refillable potion to start with. This will just give you your faster jungle clear. Master Yi does a lot of auto attack, so Hunter's Machete will do a lot of damage with that. Alongside your Q AoE, you'll be able to still clear all of your cans very effectively. And just, yeah, you need to clear early on mainly and just ramp up to your items. So the fastest clear here is what you want to go with. Now for the main initial item you want to go for is Red Smite with the Blood Razor. This is your main bread and butter for your damage output early, this combined with Gwynsu's really is just going to give you your damage spikes. If you can get to your items on this champion, it is going to be over from there. It is going to be extremely difficult for the enemy team to deal with a Master Yi that has a 2-item spike already. All you really have to do is farm for it, and that's Blood Razor. Blood Razor deals deals damage based on target's maximum HP, and since Master Yi gets a lot of auto attacks in there, this is going to stack up really, really fast. Now for the boots on this champion, it's either ninjas or mercs. You want to just get tanky boots because you want to survive. That's your main goal. If they have a lot of tenacity, get mercs. You can also combine mercs with the tenacity in your runes just to avoid getting CC'd and locked down so you can deal your damage. And if they don't, then ninjas for the most damage reduced is what you want to go with. Now your first main item that you always want to go for will be the Gwinsu's Rage Blade. This is your bread and butter. This synergizes extremely well with Blood Razor as well. So this is really like the main source. As soon as you get to this stage already, like let's say you have 3 items like this is where you start popping off. This is where you can just ruin team fights, start getting pentakills already. It's a really disgusting power spike, and yeah, that's really all I can say about it. Now from here on out you have a couple of options, but builds look very, very similar. The most used one will just be Wit's End. This will also give you a lot of additional healing, which will of course mean that this stacks with Ravenous and everything. All the healing together will just allow you to survive fights a lot easier, allowing you to just put in more damage, pump in more damage, get in more. It's just a complete snowball synergy. Also, this makes you very, very tanky against magic damage as well, which is very, very nice too. So that is an option. Other options include Blade of the Rune King. It's a very good choice still if you're facing a bunch of tanks. So let's say the enemy team is like Orin top Sejuani jungle, for example, maybe with like a set support, I don't know, just a Alistar support or Thresh support, something like that, just a more tanky support. Then you can also go for Blade of the Rune King as well. Yeah, if they are full AD, then Wit's End's kind of so and so, because you will lose a lot of sets on your resistances. Even though it still does a good amount of damage on top of everything, so even if it's full AD, you can still opt to go for Wit's End as well, because the damage output and sustain is still very, very solid. So yeah, Blade of the Rune King is there for the tanky options, for those like tanks and the enemy team. This will be very valuable. You can do a bunch of, like, you can do either or after the Gwinsu's. It just depends really on the enemy team. If the enemy team is a bunch of squishies, just get Wit's End every time, because it will just do the most damage. And yeah, now right here, after picking up these, like one of these 2 items, you're already gonna be dealing more than enough damage to win any team fight really. So what you're looking for is survivability. An item that will do that really well is Strix. This is a very valuable item to get. You can do a setup like this right here. Go for the Wit's End and then instantly build into a Strix. This is going to make you very tanky with just the additional magic resist from this. The sustain you already have throughout your entire setup with Conqueror, with Ravenous, with this effect right here as well. And then this is just going to allow you to tank, because if people start focusing you, then you're just going to gain that additional HP. Also, this will trigger the tenacity effect, basically allowing you to run through CC even more. So if you have this item with mercs, with tenacity and the runes, you're just going to be laughing, because if a Vygar like cages you, you're just going to run straight through his cage basically, and it's just going to be honestly quite funny. So this is a very, very valuable tanky item for Yi. And it's something I would recommend you to pick up in your 5th slot basically every time, because it's just so strong. Now, again, a setup like this is very standard, it's very linear as well. The only difference would be to like take a blade instead of the Wit's End in situations, or just the other way around. As a final item, you can still finish off with blade or Wit's End if you are in a situation like that, if you think you need it. Another great item is Dev's Dance for additional survivability and sustain. And honestly, that's really it. Like, the build doesn't have to vary anything else. The only other item that would be good is Guardian Angel to give you a second life. In a lot of cases, this could mean a lot as well. So if you have like a 6-item build like this, that will also be quite valuable. Having magic resist armor and then additional health and a second life, you don't need damage past these 4 items really. So yeah. So it's it for the build on Mastery. It's very straightforward. There's not much variation in this. If you do have questions on it, however, make sure to put those in the comments below. I'll do my best to answer those questions for you. And if you have enjoyed this video so far, please make sure to hit the thumbs up button as well. This does help me out quite a bit. And yeah, let's move on into the gameplay section now. Alright, welcome to the gameplay section of this guide. As you can see, we are following a Master Yi into a Nidalee. This Master Yi is a 350-ish LP Grandmaster player. Yeah. Also, this is not a boosting strategy gameplay. Like, a bunch of Yis play boosting strategies. Basically, the only way you ever see Yis with a boosting strategy. If you want to play it, go ahead, be my guest. But yeah, not a fan. So, just gonna be playing this normally and following a Yi normally. Now, Yis initially, as any jungler, you want to make sure that you use your ward. You can use it defensively on your other camp, which is Especially against an early game jungler like Nidalee, a ward here does help a little bit more. However, this can prevent invades from happening, or like spotting invades in general, so this could be a useful ward as well. Wherever you place your ward, you always want to make sure that you back before 52 seconds, and then also pick up your red trinket as soon as you do it. The red trinket is going to allow you to know if there is any vision where you're walking when you're clearing, or for invades, or for ganks, or anything like that. So initially starting on red buff, the enemy team actually does get spotted by the ward that he placed. This is like a late invade prevention, which, I mean, yeah, his ward was effective, or like, what can I say? They're actually, interestingly enough, gonna try to fight this, which I don't think is a good idea. Mostly because they should have the stronger level 1. So, yeah, I don't know. Either way, for Yee's clear, this doesn't necessarily matter too much. He could just go like clearing his own camps. Master Yi doesn't necessarily need a leash. If you could just use your Q for clearing, you're fine. Yeah, just moving on. Also, he needs to play extremely defensive now. He didn't get a leash, and Nidalee did get the early advantage. And Nidalee is a better early game jungler. This matchup specifically is very, very heavily Nidalee favored early on. Like, as soon as Master Yi starts getting like 1 or 2 items though, it is over, because Nidalee can't do anything against Yi anymore at that point. So all you would have to focus on right now is try to maybe get some objective as Nidalee ganks, try to get as much farm as possible, and just play defensive. You don't need to play aggressive, you just need to take whatever you can. It's usually a very good place on Yi no matter what. If you can just farm up to get your Gwynsu's Rageblade, get to that point, and you're going to start winning the game, you're going to start winning fights. If you can flank fights, it's very, very good. So he's not going to take the risk. He probably thinks that Nidalee is either, like, there's 2 ways where what Nidalee can do. She can either be here right now, or she can be in this situation, like in her bot side, just clearing down, and then she would contest this. Depending on what she did, of course. So he's just going to go check the scuttle, which will probably give him all the information he needs if he thinks about it. Because if Nidalee isn't on bot scuttle, means she's doing topside, which means she probably stole his topside camps. So he should have checked this, in my opinion. But yeah, he didn't take the risk, which is fine. Like, the Nidalee only took his blue, so he'll be able to just take his camps, take some like XP from mid lane. And yeah, if the mid laner, if a laner isn't there, try to cover the wave, because actually on Master Yi that's very valuable. You can get experience and gold from that for free. And even if you take, or like put, like, let's say he would take like 1 or 2 waves from a Maul fight, it doesn't necessarily matter, because a Maul fight is not going to do as much with the gold as Yi would. If Yi gets to 2 items, it's done. So yeah, really, looking for something like that's worth it. He's checking for Nidalee's camps, or maybe a gank didn't happen, so he's going back to his clear, looking to just farm his jungle as much as possible. That's all you have to really focus on early on. He saw the Nidalee just move towards topside right here. She walked through and went up to clear her topside camps. So one thing he could go for right now, you can easily do this at Master Yi from a very early stage, is he could go for the dragon. Let's see if he does. He has the option to just go over the wall and go for dragon, which he actually does. If you start dragon on Yi, auto attack at first, wait for the animation, like wait for the dragon to kind of start standing up, then Q, so you can avoid the knockback from a little bit more damage efficiency. And just use your Q, auto attack it as much as possible, and it's very easily cleared, as you can see. If you do come in some issues, you can always heal back up with meditate. If you are low HP, you can also smite, of course, for some extra health. Now again, because we know that Nidalee was just topside, he will look for an invade. I think he got maybe spotted, or he just doesn't know where the enemy bot lane is, so he stops it. Which, I mean, is a fair play. Better safe than sorry, really, that's all it is. Especially when playing this champion, because if you get to the stage anyway, you'll be fine. I'm looking to maybe get a gank off on bot lane from a flank, like from the alcove. Seeing if he can get in, sneak in the brush, maybe force, like maybe the enemy goes for a fight. And he can pick something up here. But as you can see, the early game on this champion isn't very eventful, especially into an early game champion like Nidalee, but it doesn't have to be. Like, you don't have to play aggressive, you don't have to do everything. It is mainly about getting as much farm as you can get, trying to get farm wherever you can. He knows Nidalee is topside, so he can take Nidalee's bot side camps. This is just very smart counter jungling that you would have to go for, just trying to get the items that you need. Also, another thing is, if you are trading kills 1 for 1, pretty much always worth it. Unless you have a shutdown gold, or unless you have shutdown, of course. But if trading any kills 1 for 1, just do it, because any gold value on you is important, and if you can just get to that Gwynsus, you're gonna start rolling over them. As you can see right there, pretty much deletes Senna. Like, he's already starting to get to that point. He isn't quite there yet, because he doesn't have his jungle item completed yet. But once you get the jungle item completion, you're gonna start to see a significant damage increase, and you can just start running people down. Now here, running Bard down as well. The Lucian does show up, but again, he goes for the fight there. Like, committing all-in situations is a lot better on Yi in a lot of situations than you might think it is. And you might initially struggle and get killed a lot, but trying to just all-in a bunch of times, like really testing out your limits, is actually going to be quite valuable to do if you're starting to learn Yi, because you can get away with a lot more things than you think you can. Especially after you start getting like 1 kill or something and you have a Gwynsus stacked up, you're just gonna roll through him. Now, small things as well with Master Yi's mechanics for going in. If you see a bunch of damage coming in, like you see like a Nidalee Spear coming in with, I don't know, just a bunch of damage that suddenly comes in, you can quickly tap your W. It will also count as an auto attack reset, so if you auto attack, W auto attack will instantly reset it as well. But you can quickly block the damage with a damage reduction from your W, so you will take less. And it's a small thing, it's just a little mechanic that's, I wouldn't say the only mechanic Master Yi has, but one of the only things that differentiates a very good Yi from an average Yi. It's just a small thing of like knowing when to W to soak damage, and also knowing that you can use your W to reset your auto attack if you do need to. It can be helpful in some situations. Alright, more jungle farming. The Nidalee just back, so he actually no, he just showed up. I thought that a lot less time has passed since I'm playing it on speed up. But she should have, like, she just backed, which is what I thought, so he could have gone for the Drake. She is back on the map now, so definitely not something you want to look for. Also, taking this fight isn't really ideal. He should have just backed for his jungle item, get his power spike, and then look for a fight. That would be a little bit better. But this is like one of those things. When playing Master Yi, like, it's better to go all in to a fight instead of trying to run. Like, a perfect example is this right here. He does get damage from Lucian. And he's like, all he does, like, there's no point in running. He can't, like, going that way doesn't matter, he'll die. So if he just goes in, Qs this guy, gets the Q on Senna, gets the kill there, can kill the Bard as well, most likely with a reset off his Q. Barely didn't get the last auto attack. But yeah, just going for it, going all in, just holds more value in a lot of situations. Now he's starting to get to the scary point. He has a jungle item, he has an extra recurve bow, and you'll see his damage, like, output spikes significantly, even though his early game wasn't that great. And that's also why I picked this replay, because he isn't just gonna get like 6 kills in the early game and get his Gwynsus at like 12 minutes. No, he actually has quite a tough time early on, farming wherever he can and everything like that. So this just perfectly shows you that if you can play it slow, if you can just farm up and take whatever you can take, you can start getting to this point in the game where you have your jungle item completed and you're just running him down. That was a really quick kill on Sylas. He can chase this down, get the kill on the Bard, potentially didn't get it there, but in this case he can also pick up the kill on the Senna, which she does have stopwatch, so that kind of sucks. But there, like right here in this situation where he's in right now, even, like, he has so much damage output that he can tank the turret for a while, right? He can also use his W for a quick auto attack reset and also damage reduction if some damage comes in, which is something to keep note of. But even if he dies for a situation like this and he does get one, like he gets 2 kills out of this, right here, see stopwatches, he can run away right now. But there really is no point, because he'll have, like, they don't have the damage output currently to kill him. He will easily be allowed to kill the Senna the moment she gets out of that stopwatch. He just Qs, drops turret aggro, basically instantly Senna, the Qiyana tanks it. But even if he just stays there, he would have most likely done enough damage to just kill them both by himself, just for just stay into the fight. So this might sound like really int advice for initially if you don't know your damage output or your limits, but just try to stick to fights as much as possible. You will be surprised at how much damage you do and how much you can get away with. Alright, this is the moment in the game where he gets his power spike, he gets his Gwynsu's Rage Blade, and at this moment he can just do whatever he wants really. Because right now, if he just plays any fight somewhat smart and doesn't just run it straight in there, he'll win him most likely. Taking some farm. I'm pretty sure he's just looking to quickly get to level 11, because that will be a big spike. The team is fighting here. He could look to clean this up potentially. Let's see what he does. Yeah, okay. Doesn't really have any opportunity to do anything right now. I mean, I say that, goes instantly for the Silas that overextends too far. They stick to top lane too far. Silas didn't run back fast enough. He pops his ultimate, he Qs, and as you can see, just the straight damage output he's starting to get right now is crazy. I'm pretty sure Bart would not have been able to run that distance. I think he's here. I'm curious. Yeah, he is in there. Okay. He could have checked this, probably didn't realize, but either or. He gets to use his Rift Herald and just gets the turret. Now, like, at this point, it's really, like, he doesn't, like, he of course has a shutdown, right? He isn't that far ahead, or wasn't that far ahead, but this is where this champion starts rolling over people. If you just play your fights from this point onwards now, then you can really, you'll see the increase, you'll see the damage output he'll have. This is where his game begins, as he, it really is, which is, yeah. Quiana gets a very nice ultimate there. Sees the Silas bot lane. Quiana sees this opportunity, gets a nice 3-man ultimate right there. The Master Yi goes in. Here, I think he just flashes over the wall, right? He doesn't flash over the wall. Okay, interesting. Oh, well, he sees these two on bot lane here, which is fine. He can't get slowed, so Bart Q doesn't really do anything. If he can just stack his Gwynsu's up, that's already enough. Right there, goes on Lucian. Gwynsu's is still active, which means he can still just start doing damage, or still like keep dealing damage really. And as you can see, just like his burst, he's moving all over the fight, just running and one-shotting people. Deadman's Blade allows Bart to get away, unfortunately for him. But this, like, as you can see, that damage output right there, this is the moment Master Yi starts to get going, and you just have to keep going forward. Trust the build. That's really all I can tell you, is trust the build on this champion. If you do have a Taric on your team as a support, I mean, unless you're playing boosting strategy, of course, but if you have a Taric on your team as a support, then just trust that as well, and just keep going for it. Your damage will carry you through everything. Like, it quite literally will carry you through everything. If you don't play it like an absolute dumbass, of course. Like, you do have to, like, right now, this is the most ideal flank, or the most ideal situation you can get on Yi is a flank. So if you can go for a flank in any situation and not just run into this team fight straight up, that's literally perfect. So he comes in from the fight, like, fight's going on. His team is currently getting the kills already, but they're getting really low. He comes in from behind, and this is where he just gets the free flank, gets 1 kill. His damage pretty much one-shot solution, honestly, that was so fast. And he just runs through the team fight. Uses his ult, resets right there, catches up to the Bard, Q's Bard, one-shots Bard. Like, honestly, at this point, it's just Master Yi things. And yeah, that's all it is. I mean, I don't know exactly what to tell you here. Looks like with his item setup, he's going for the Dev's Dance build now for more sustain, I think, from seeing this, which is, I mean, fine, works. Strix would be very good here as well. If he would pick Strix here, I think that would have been a little bit of a better buy, just to make him, like, more tanky. Now, one small thing that his team is really fucking up here is not tanking the Baron for him. If the team would tank it, like, if the Janna even would tank this Baron for him right here, it would have already died. See, like, he starts Baron. Master Yi has a lot of Baron damage, right? So that's one thing to get up. But if he tanks Baron, he gets this debuff, Baron's Gaze, for 50% damage reduction. If you have the option, always try to maybe spam ping assist or type in chat that the team needs to tank Baron for you, so you don't get this Gaze debuff. Because this is the damage he does with a 50% reduction. Just go imagine how much damage this guy does without that. See how fast Baron's dying right now? If this Janna or this Malphite was tanking the Baron and getting this buff on him, this would be 50% faster. Which is a really, really big mistake on his team's part not to tank this Baron for him. And that's definitely something you need to do as your team, as a teammate for Yi. Because right now this Baron has 3k HP, but this would have definitely been dead if the Janna or Malphite tanked Baron for him. So that's a very small thing. Now the good thing here is though, he got to stack his Gwynsus on the Baron. So he'll initially start this fight with a completely stacked Gwynsus. So this is just a well, damage test, I guess, or a damage showcase. Because right there, 2 auto attacks, basically this guy dies. Like 2 or 3 auto attacks, Nidalee dies. Like this is the stage where Master Yi just becomes disgusting. And you can really just run people down. So, but yeah, that Baron debuff thing is very, very big. You can easily duo Barons with a support. Even if it's a Janna, just ask Janna to tank the Baron to gaze debuff for you. And you should be fine. Alright, now clearing through his jungle, waiting for his team to reset. And maybe going for enough gold for an item. He's going for the Death's Dance, yep. I mean, all of this right now is he just has to pick one more team fight, because he just needs to stack up one more team fight. One thing here, what you can do is just start hitting stuff, start hitting the turret, get your Gwynsu stacks off of the turret. If you get your Rage Blade stacks and just initiate a fight with that, it's already done. Because starting a fight with 6 stacks on your Gwynsus basically means the fight's over, unless you get CC locked down, which is very difficult, especially if you stack your Tenacity. But he ults, the fight starts. He could have flashed forward to start the fight there, but queuing there is fine as well. He goes in, auto attacks the Lucian like twice, he dies. Auto attacks the turret there, which isn't ideal, Silas could have died. Auto attacks Senna twice, she dies, and auto attacks Bart twice, and he dies as well. So, I mean, what can you say apart from just commit to it, your damage will be fine. If you can just get through your early game, as you saw this game specifically, that is very important as well. And yeah, that's it for the guide on Master Yi, guys. If you guys have enjoyed this guide, please make sure to hit the thumbs up button below. It does help me out quite a bit. Also, if you want to join the Discord community, make sure to do so as well. There is a link in the description. And yeah, with all that being said, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!